everyone. Today I want to do a demonstration of a simple little story that was one of the first recollections I have as a small child. Before we begin, I'd like to make a few suggestions about recording. One is that you use a good quality lapel mic like I have on here, or a shotgun mic, and that will bring your sound much more directly to your camera. You can mount the little shotgun mic on top of it and direct it right at your target and get a real clear, nice audio production. The story I'm going to tell today is probably one of the first events in my life that left a lasting impression on me. In 1942, of course, World War was in progress in Europe and in the Pacific. And I was 2 years old. I was born in 1940, born and raised in this little town in New Hampshire. And we lived on Main Street, right on the corner. And between the two properties, there was a house behind us. There was a long white board fence. And on the other side of this fence, there was a lawn and some pretty flowers that bloomed there in the spring and summer. And a couple of times a week, this young man would come by to do some landscaping and take care of the gardens and mow the lawn. And once in a while, he would say something to me, and I would giggle. And he used to call me some funny little name, but I can't remember what it was now. It was so long ago. Sometimes the lady next door would come out and talk to me and bring a cookie or something, and my mother would be there with me. And I remember this young man, and as I remember now, he was probably in his mid to late 20s. And one day he came, and I was out there by the fence, and we were talking, and I remember he said, "I won't be back here anymore." So I was kind of surprised and disappointed, and I didn't really know why. He said, "I've got to go in the Army next week." So, you know, a little boy 2 years old doesn't really know what the Army is about or what was going on in the world at the time. But anyway, he didn't return, and I was sad about it, but I had a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins, and I had my grandparents that I spent a lot of time with, so gradually the memory kind of faded away. And probably at 2 years old, we don't retain an awful lot. As time went by, later on in the 40s, just after the war, it was probably 1946 or 47, I was in grade school, and it just so happened that his child was in the same classroom as myself at the time. So this kind of brought it home to me. And I remember specifically this one day that they brought this young man home from Europe. He had been killed in the war, and I remember the church bells ringing, and I remember how sad I was, and how I felt so sorry for his child because he didn't have a father anymore. And that kind of stuck by me. And I'm telling the story because I think it's one of the things that stayed with me, where a lot of things at that age didn't, but this, for some particular reason, did. In those days, small towns were very close-knit. People helped each other. Just about everybody knew everybody. We all went to school together. We played in each other's yards and houses. And when people were in trouble, sometimes the neighbors would bring apples or some eggs or maybe a chicken or a piece of ham or something or some bacon to help you along. And this is the way it was. These communities were very close in those days. You didn't have an awful lot of people coming and going the way you do now. So I was very impressed with all of this. And I think for me that I wanted to record this and use it as a sample because I felt it to be something that was really important to me, and as time went by, it didn't fade away. It's still with me today. Just coincidentally, this young man and my father had gone down to Manchester to take a physical for induction into the Army. And my father was rejected because of his 4F vision, and the young man that I'm referring to in the story was taken into the Army, and he did not survive. He was killed, I believe, in somewhere in Europe, perhaps Italy. And it was very sad for me as a child, and everybody in town was affected by it. It was a very small little village, and we were all very sad and affected by this event. So this is an example of what may be important to some people and what you might want to put on a DVD or as a part of your life story or the adventures that you've had in your life. So I mean this to intend to help people to record successfully audio and video. You'll find my email address on this webpage, and I hope that you'll contact me and we'll proceed. Thank you. I also suggest that you don't wear glasses when you're on camera. I do because I can't see unless I do. It is necessary.